What's up, Nefarious Orator here. So, I just got done with my first Game Away May event. So, my wife ran a Traveler campaign and we played that. It was a lot of fun. So, my buddy and I, we were the ones who played. Our characters were sort of like these just randomly generated characters. They're just sort of normal citizens of the Imperium, and they're aboard a space station. For whatever reason, they're leaving the sort of mega city that they're on, and they end up aboard the space station. The space station gets hijacked. While they're aboard the space station, now they have to deal with this sort of a setting. So we didn't really have a whole ton that we had done to modify the characters. A little bit. They were mostly pre-gens. There wasn't a whole ton that we had done to modify them. My buddy's first character dies. My character survives. He brings his second character in. They continue on the adventure. It's going to end probably next time that we play, so sometime next week. But we had a blast while we were playing it. Tons of fun. The fact that my buddy was able to bring in his new character is really one of the highlights of the Traveler system. You can really bring in characters into the setting very easy. I can give you a quick description of the setting. So I can tell you something like, so a new player, for example, at the table who wants to jump in and play, I can just quickly tell them, the campaign is just, it's like space truckers. They're just truckers over space. They're moving goods from one location to the other. It's like little tankers and space truckers and stuff like that. There's some pirates and gangsters who hijack them, like hijacking trucks and whatnot. And, that's pretty much it. So you can explain to them something like that, and you've told them the basics of the setting, and then you can just kind of give them details of their character, either as they're playing the Traveler minigame and they're generating the bits and pieces of the character, or if they have a pre-gen, you can just explain it to them and just say stuff that's sort of like, well, your character is a mechanic, he has some engineering skills, he can use the radios, he was in the army, so he can also, fire a gun and do a couple of army little skills and things, some survival. And pretty much everybody is just going to immediately go, got it, and be able to play the character. They'll know how to fit it in their mind, how the character works. So I think the way that Traveler relates back to our universe in sort of those sorts of really common sort of tropish sort of ways, instead of being sort of a lame, just kind of abuse of the trope, it's just sort of lightly touched there and lets you really quickly fit into the game world. So it's fun like that. That is also, in my opinion, with Traveler, it's also one of the problems with it, which is that you can have a character who's been really experienced in your Traveler universe, who's played for a number of years. So you've played for a number of real life years, and he's not really, there's no real leveling in Traveler, so he hasn't advanced very much in those regards. He doesn't have a whole ton of new skills. He has some new equipment, some new contacts maybe, but not a whole ton. He's essentially just the same character he was when he started, and so he could die, or she could die, and you just roll a new character, and if you happen to roll stuff that's very similar, and you have a very similar skill package, you can insert that character almost directly into your old role without missing a beat. I've seen it actually happen exactly, where a character I've had has died. I rolled a new character to replace him. The new character had almost the exact same skill set, and just like, just like replacing a part on a modern lawnmower. You just pull it out and just plug in the new part, easy peasy. So that's sort of a problem with Traveler. The Traveler's really made or broken by the quality of the GM who's running it. If they have the chops to manage the character's inventory and wealth that they're accumulating over time, and can let them grow and gain stuff without a power creep and a bloat going on, then you've got a real quality GM, and they're going to run a really good experience, and you'll play that game for years. And I've played Traveler games for years with GMs of that caliber. There's also, of course, one-shots and modules and stuff, and those are fantastic. But yeah, Traveler really kind of needs a really good, if you're going to play a long-term game, needs a really good GM. My wife happens to be a really good Traveler GM, so that works pretty well for us. So that was day one of Game Away May. Day two is tomorrow. Yeah, I'm going to run stuff tomorrow. I'm going to be running Astonishing Swordsmen and Sorcerers of Hyperborea, the ghost ships of the desert dunes. So this particular module here that I'm going to be running. So I've uh, I've never run Astonishing Swordsmen and Sorcerers before. I've never played in Astonishing Swordsmen and Sorcerers. I know it's a retro clone, and it's supposed to be like Lamentations of the Flame Princess, one of the better retro clones out there. I, of course, have played first edition and earlier editions of D&D, so I understand in general how the mechanics work, and I'm looking forward to playing this particular one. My understanding is the setting is just incredible, that it's incredible detail and really easy to get into, and I've been pretty big in general over the last 5 or 6 years, maybe a little bit more, on sort of richer, detailed, more stylistic and sort of complete settings rather than stuff that's just sort of candied and off the shelf like maybe like a Forgotten Realms or something. So anyway, I'm looking forward to this. Sunday I have my travel group that we've been started up during COVID, so I'm running that on Sunday. Monday's May the 4th, so I'm going to run a Star Wars thing. Wednesday I'm going to run a Harn thing. So just lots of games coming up. I know I've got at least through Monday booked. Tuesday I might have to find something. Even if it's just 2 or 3 of us playing, my wife and I and 1 or 2 other people, that's perfectly fine. We'll find some more people along the way, or we'll find some online games or whatever. Not a big deal. Looking forward to it. So yeah, I'll talk to you guys tomorrow when I go over game 2. And good gaming.